viewers, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I said, goddamn!
I'm gonna wait.
This is an unpopular ranking of the top superhero films of 2016.
It's gonna be popular, Mike.
Nope, it's gonna be unpopular. People are gonna get their butts hurt.
I don't care.
Deep down. Let's start with the last one.
Why?
Because
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange is our least favorite superhero
And
movie
you're asking...
of 2016.
That's a bit strange. But that's number 5, but it's not. Because Doctor Strange, compared to all the other superheroes movies that came out this year...
Yeah. It wouldn't be number 5 on a lot of people's list, and that's the thing. For us, what happened was Doctor Strange came out, and it's a Marvel property, but they put the Marvel formula above the character itself. Yeah. Doctor Strange should have been dark. It should have had some cool cosmic shit in it, which it did do that, but it should have been dark. It didn't feel like I felt Doctor Strange should feel. It felt way too Disney and over the top. There were some editing issues that people don't talk about. The training was a joke. Ultimately, I enjoyed the movie. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but it was disappointing for me.
I gave it a 7.5. I enjoyed it a little bit more than Mike. Actually, I enjoyed it a lot more than Mike. But at the same time, I will say this. They relied a lot on CG, this movie, to carry it through. It's still cool to have Doctor Strange in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, and to where we're going to go with the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity War. That is cool. So... But it's still ultimately not going to live up to the hype that everything else that came out before it. So,
and I'll agree with you. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is a great Doctor Strange, and I can't wait to see him interact with other characters in what is a better movie. So that's number 5. Number 4/5. This is a cop out. Fuck your mother. What are you going to do about it? I don't know. I don't want to.
I'm not going to do it.
No, do it. Fuck your mother. Fuck it. Seriously, fuck her, man.
Psycho.
It's a tie. It's a tie because we could not pick between these two fucking movies, and we both agreed on it. I already knew I couldn't pick between it. I asked Jay. He couldn't pick between them. Xmen Apocalypse / Suicide Squad. I think they're both extremely flawed films. Like, they both got a lot of problems with them. X-Men Apocalypse had to follow up Days of Future Past, right? So that, I mean, Days of Future Past is a superhero movie that carried with it one, maybe 2 Oscar-worthy performances. Fucking James McAvoy in Days of Future Past, in Days of Future Past.
Has he not won one yet?
I don't know if he
God damn you,
but
Matt
not
Damon,
for that he didn't.
taking that away.
I mean, that was an Oscar-worthy performance. The emotion that was in that movie was amazing. It's one of the best comic book movies ever, in my opinion. And to follow that up is hard to do. But you bring out Apocalypse, right? Apocalypse, man, one of the biggest fucking villains in X-Men's whole universe, and it's following up that movie. And the villain was just disappointing. You tell me Oscar Isaac is gonna play it, and I'm like, fuck yeah,
it's Oscar Isaac.
That's amazing. Yeah. But they drowned him in 76 pounds of fucking Ivan Ooze makeup. He didn't look good. He was really cheesy at times. The way he just appeared in a fucking orb. I don't know why. Oh, I'm gonna fix your wings.
I just watched Apocalypse the other day, and for some reason, when I look at Apocalypse in this film, in the X-Men Apocalypse movie, he looks like he wants to sell me fruit roll-ups. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like the Kool-Aid guy just kicks in your fucking door. He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
do you want some upgrades?
Do you want some fruit roll-ups? Or some gushers?
But it had a lot of amazing moments in it. It was still a fun X-Men movie. They introduced Psylocke, a bunch of badass characters, and it was a fun, still X-Men movie that was still a good movie.
And they reinvented and renewed Cyclops, which I think they gave a lot more love to Cyclops finally in this movie than they had done before.
Still yet haven't done Cyclops right, though.
Not right.
So,
not yet.
James Marsden was badass, they just didn't use him the right way.
He could have been great.
And not to mention, they actually managed to top maybe the best scene of the previous year with Quicksilver's scene.
But I will say,
that was amazing.
It was hard for me to decide between tying Apocalypse with Suicide Squad, because the reason why is because Suicide Squad... Again, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know why DC automatically gets hate about a lot of things right away. But Suicide Squad, when the early reports were coming out, they were. I feel like we're on CNN. The early reports are this, but
Wisconsin.
The early reports were coming out saying that it sucked, it was terrible, this or that. And to be honest,
said, "Fuck you!"
Yeah, and to be honest, when I walked in and I watched it, I didn't have much expectations for Diablo. He was amazing in the movie. Deadshot, I was completely off on Will Smith. He did great. So there was a lot of surprising things going on in Suicide Squad that overshadowed for me Apocalypse, but at the same time, the tone of the movies and the way that they just ultimately played out, it's a tie. I mean...
Yeah, and for Suicide Squad, for me, this movie, I sat and watched it, and I sat there going, what a fucking mess. And then I sat there going, what a fucking blast. Like, I had so much fun watching it. It's like watching someone going, you got no fucking chance. But at the end of the movie, you're like, oh my God, I was fucking entertained somehow. It's weird.
You know what Suicide Squad is like? It's like watching the Olympics, and when you turn on ice skating, you're like, I'm not going to be into this. And then
4 hours later,
they do some great shit. You're like, oh my God. Popcorn. What the fuck is
4 hours
going on?
later, you're covered in Cheetos and fucking
Yeah.
candy wrappers. You don't know what happened. But yeah, that's exactly it. Like Suicide Squad had a joke of a villain. It was an embarrassing villain.
That was
It was
terrible,
awful.
yeah.
They had some terrible cheese to it.
What are you talking about?
Fucking Joker. Yeah, so fucking my hips don't lie. But and the villain was terrible, but the jokes fucking landed. Some of it was funny. The Joker was divisive.
He's always going to be that
and
way.
he was underwhelming, and he wasn't used enough. But at the same time, he was fucking. He was iconic. Like you'll never forget seeing Jared Leto play the Joker. It was a big deal.
You know what? That's always going to be the Joker's case, though. In any movie that whatever actor they cast in a movie that he's going to play the Joker, Joker is such a polarizing figure and character that there's always going to be this moment in time when you watch it, you're going to have like this side loves it, this side hates it, this side's right here. And for me, Jared Leto, I'm kind of leaning on like wasn't as good as I think that Jared Leto could have been in it, but I wasn't like completely disappointed. I think it could have been better.
Yeah, so ultimately, I mean, Apocalypse was a movie that was a little bit underwhelming, but still highly entertaining. Yeah. And then Suicide Squad comes in, and it's a fucking chop job, but it's somehow still also highly entertaining. So that's why, for me, they're both the same.
It was a chop shop, dude. If you took your car in there, they're like, I can make you have turbo. It's not turbo, it's just, you can run on unleaded gasoline.
I heard you like some villains, so I put some villains in your villains.
It's fun.
Number 3! Forgot. Civil War.
Okay, so
coming in kind of fucking low, right?
I think that you guys are already guessing the trend now, and fuck you if you guys are accusing us of being bipartisan or partisan to one specific group, because we're not. Civil War was great. I like Civil War. Civil War, Marvel did it right. They did a really good job with it, but I don't think that Marvel went all the way with what they should have done with Civil War. Now, saying that, Civil War, again, was entertaining. It was great. I loved to see all the characters fight each other. I mean, it was one of those moments, like, it was like watching the Royal Rumble on WWF or something, like, who's coming out next? And there was
Gene Okerlund. Yeah, the cream's gonna rise to the top. Yeah.
I was doing the mantra. That was mantra. But yes, you didn't know what was going to happen. Spider-Man dropped. Everybody knew that Spider-Man was dropped. But the way that they used him was amazing. The Giant Man sequence in Civil War was great.
Oh.
It was amazing to see that.
Boner Town Party of One.
See he likes that dick.
Sorry.
But and the ramifications this will have later on in the Marvel universe is going to be amazing as well. It was a hype train for Civil War. Like it was built. And by the way, the persons that do the trailer did such a great job because it was leading up to this massive death or something. Like, people were thinking like this is going to be a moment that Marvel
squeezed out a fart there, man.
I was like fucking.
I'm
going to go Super Saiyan.
I felt it.
It's Tuesday, my dudes. But there was like you really thought watching it that there was going to be a moment that was going to really, really impact the MCU, and it just really never happened. But at the same time, I'm not saying that the movie wasn't entertaining. I enjoyed it. I really did like it.
I love Civil War too, and here's the thing. Watching Civil War, I said it myself the first time. I said, this is better than Batman vs. Superman. I said that out loud on camera in front of you guys. I went to see it a second time, and here's the thing. I was swayed by the Marvel audience. I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and people fucking love Marvel, and that's fucking rad. But I'm sitting there watching it, and like, Spider-Man talking shit to Captain America, all this shit going on there, all this batshit stuff. The whole tarmac sequence was just like fucking throw popcorn at my face and call me Susan, smack my ass, I'm fucking done. This is amazing fruit. It's amazing. And I'm just so blown away by it all that I walked out of the theater. The second time I went to see it, I was like, oh my God. I was blitzed by all this badass shit, which rightfully so, but I totally missed the fact that the villain's completely fucking pointless. The whole fact that he does all this stuff and uses his whole movie plot to force these two characters to be in the same place, to show him a fucking video he could have emailed him and had the same outcome with. There's pacing problems, there's a million fucking problems within it. Ultimately, the main problem was Civil War, and I fucking love this movie. I thought it was great. But as a comic book fan who read the story, who know the implications in the graphic novels and stuff that come from it, when you watch the movie and you walk away, Marvel again chose their formula of fun and Marvel and Disney-tasticness over pulling the trigger and making some actual dramatic shit happen. They really just missed the point, because by the end of this movie, when it ends, there's no real implication. By the time Avengers 3 rolls around, everyone's just going to have to team up and be friends again to face this threat, and ultimately Civil War ends up meaning nothing. So even though it was a great fucking movie, it was entertaining as shit, and I love it, I love the comedy in it, I had a blasty blast fucking watching it, it disappointed me in some ways.
Well, Civil War, the comic book, went on for, it was a series. I mean, it went on all year long. I mean, you basically condensed that story into one movie. You can't do that. I mean, they already split up Infinity War into 2 movies. I mean, because it's such a massive movie.
And they were scared to pull the trigger on the biggest moments.
Civil War could have been built up through Captain America. It could have been an Iron Man 4 movie. It could have been a Captain Marvel movie. There's a Thor. It could have had multiple, there were so many avenues they could have gone with that, because that is such a significant part of the Marvel Universe in the comic book series. I'm not disappointed with the movie overall, and I understand that they have to work within a budget and they have to work within time frames because they have other things going on. But again, I mean, Civil War is such an iconic moment in the Marvel comic book history that it should have been treated, to me, a little bit with more respect as far as how it could have, what it could have been signifying later down the road. Spider-Man gets reintroduced into the MCU. Like, that is fucking great. You couldn't have picked a better actor than what he is. Like, the guy they picked, Holland. Amazing interactions. I can't wait to see how that's going to play out later on with the Avengers. But there was just so much extra untapped potential. You know, it's like saying, hey, we went out, we were gold mining, and we shook it out, and we got like this much. But there was a whole gold nugget sitting over there, you fucking idiots. That was worth $10,000.
And you got to give them credit for it. Only Marvel could put out a movie that's at least an 8 out of 10 and still could wind up being disappointing. I mean, that's how much you led up to it. Number 2! It's gonna piss some motherfuckers off.
We don't care anymore at this point. I don't care.
Batman vs Superman.
It's the BVS, and I didn't want to say that anymore. The BVS thought you should just go to a fucking local pharmacy and get healed for it, because it sounds like healed. Healed.
Healed.
Because not hilt. Hilt. That's a sword. But if you have BVS, you need to go get that checked out. But Batman vs Superman, yes. Mike and I have been strong defenders of this movie. I feel like we should be fucking Green Lanterns. Defending the honor of Batman vs Superman. Look, I know this was such a divisive movie. Like, in recent memory, I have never experienced this much animosity and optimism for a movie in my life. Like, 50% here, 50%. This was closer than the Trump-Hillary election. It really was. I mean, it's fucking insane. But
pissed people off just as much.
But the Superman that came from Man of Steel to face off against Ben Affleck was gritty. He was down in the dirt. He was mad. He was disappointed with humankind. And why? Because he is a superpower human being that can do all these amazing things. But no matter what he does, great things, little things, he's hated no matter what. And he's trying to adjust to that. Then you bring Ben Affleck in as Batman, who's been retired for years, and is dealing with his own inner demons, and he's like, I gotta come back out of retirement just to stop this fucking alien freak that everybody's sucking their dick on, because he's gonna be the guy that ruins us all, because he's gonna attract attention that we don't need from the universe. I think this movie was loaded with emotion. I think this movie was loaded with implications for the future, and I think, honestly, man, I don't know how anybody could look at it. I mean, I get some people don't like the idea that Man of Steel not Man of Steel, but that Superman is a little bit darker than he normally is. But I don't know how you can look at it and say it's not exactly what we needed.
Here's my thing with Batman vs Superman is that I think it's going to stand the test of time more than anything else. I think when you go back into the future, what the fuck am I talking about? I think
21 gigawatts,
where there's not a huge amount of just excitement and angst and whatever towards this movie when people are sitting in the theaters, when it's not such a divisive movie, someone's going to turn on their TV and they're going to flip it on and they're going to watch it and they're going to go, holy shit, that was badass. Yeah. I just watched a superhero movie that wasn't the same as every other fucking superhero movie. And they're going to say it was dark. It dealt with like major theme issues like gods and devils. They dealt with what it would really be like in this earth if an alien came down from the sky as our savior. It showed what the people would react like. It had the balls to go places that superhero movies, specifically Marvel, though I love them, don't have the balls to go to. Not to mention they had the best Batman in this specific film to ever grace the screen. You've got to give it credit for that. Yes, there were editing problems. Yes, the Martha scene was kind of fucked up. Yes, there was some problems with this movie. But you guys take these tiny issues, not you guys, not you.
We love you guys.
People take these tiny issues with a 3-hour movie about the 2 most iconic superheroes superheroes in history in the same fucking movie facing off against each other. You guys are taking tiny issues with that and saying, oh, it's a complete shit fucking movie. No, it's not. It's got editing issues. The Martha stuff was kind of fucked up. The fight should have lasted longer. I'm right there with you on that. But you got to look at this movie as a whole.
The fact that where he's saying Marvel didn't have the balls to pull the trigger in their Civil War movie, they did. I mean, by this time, I'm sure everybody's saying Superman dies. I mean, they fucking murder him. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of that decision because that could have been a
should have been two fucking movies.
DC blew their load really early in this. They introduced Doomsday. They killed Superman. They did a lot of things.
Doomsday looked like shit.
But the scene though, the scene that he dies is amazing. It's shot very fucking well, and it's so emotional, and it's so cool, and it's just, and you know, not just the reaction from Henry Cavill as he's pushing down and killing, you know, with this fucking spike in his chest, and he's gonna murder Doomsday. He's gonna do what he's got to do to save his Earth. But the looks that Wonder Woman has and Batman, all this stuff combined is just amazing. I think it's so good.
It's another thing.
But now the bad, I will say the bad. There are, like Mike said, there is choppy pacing issues, and there are things that, you know, the extended cut did kind of address a little bit, like plot holes that were in the theatrical cut that they didn't have time to really shoot.
Warner Brothers should have fucked with it.
And the Lex Luthor plot line was stupid. I'm not a fan of Jesse Eisenberg. I'm sorry. I tried to like him. I wanted to like him, but Jesse Eisenberg will always be the Social Network guy to me. I think they could have cast Bryan Cranston as a much more intimidating Lex Luthor. Yeah. But at saying all that, the negativity that was surrounding it, and which some of it I agree with, there's no way that you can put that pressure on a director and say, you bring in this character from the 30s and this character from the 40s that everybody associates with and everybody loves, Superman and Batman, that worldwide, and you're going to make a movie that's universally going to be praised. It's not going to happen. It's not, no matter what Snyder tried to do, it was going to be hated in some way or form. But
dead on.
I think though, he did an amazing job with what he had to work with. And Ben Affleck, I like Christian Bale for the Nolan universe, but I don't like him. But it's my, you know, whatever. For the Nolan universe, he worked. I love Michael Keaton, but for this generation, for a reinvention of Batman and Superman for the cinematic experiences, you could not have picked a better actor than Ben Affleck or Henry Cavill. That's it.
Right on.
So suck a dick, Chancho.
I totally agree, man. So that leads us to our number one.
Have you guys guessed it yet?
What's better than Batman vs. Superman? The only movie that fucking pleased just about everybody, that had the nutsack to go in and be who the fuck it was and just killed it on every fucking platform. It's Deadpool. Ryan fucking Reynolds with the fucking comeback.
He's got to win this time. I mean, this was a fucking Rudy story anyway, because you know he'd been asking for this movie for years. He'd been begging studios to get on with it. He'd had a shit time with Green Lantern. He didn't get what he wanted from Green Lantern, and finally this fucking movie with the fans, with us, basically saying, "Hey, studios, listen up. We need a Deadpool movie. You need to stop fucking around. It needs to be rated R and have a good time and cast Ryan Reynolds. He was built and born for this role." And we get that movie. It is so different. It is such a breath of fresh air to watch this movie. It's kind of like watching, when I remember watching Blade for the first time. It was like that. Because every other superhero movie had tried to go with this formula. We're going to be kind of like, you know, corny and, yeah, you know, pretty much Chicken Run Road, easy street, and we're going to appeal to everybody. They're like, no, we're going rated R. We're going to make it, we're going to have a good time. We're going to do adult jokes. It's going to be Deadpool from the comic books, and that's exactly what we got, and Ryan Reynolds was the perfect cast for it.
Basically, fans had to take their dicks out and slap them on the window of the offices where these fucking studios worked and said, "Look at my dick."
They'll slap you with the
dick. They said, "Look at my dick."
But you know what? Ryan Reynolds, huge responsible for this. He pushed it as fuck. He knew this movie was going to be great. He knew it was going to be
Robert
amazing.
Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, Ryan Reynolds is fucking Deadpool.
It had a perfect blend of comedy and action. There was nothing about this movie that I could say or look around at other people that were maybe even comic book fans and say, how could you dislike this movie? This movie has got everything in it that is palpable, that people would say, walking out of the theater, that weren't even comic book fans, like, that was fucking funny, and that was really
And most
great.
importantly, even the MCU should take notice of this, which they usually don't have to take notice of anything.
Netflix for that, though.
MCU should even take notice of this. This movie had the balls to stay true to the character first and put formula second. They stayed true to Deadpool. They made a motherfucking Deadpool movie. It had to be rated R. It had to be gross. It had to be two hobos fucking in a shoe gross filled with piss.
That's nasty.
And it had to be what it was. And they fucking, and really, you know what? Fuck the studios. Fuck you. You didn't even make it happen. The fans forced you to make it happen because...
Yeah, when they let the test footage.
Yeah.
The test footage that was leaked. We know what happened, really. Yeah. They leaked it on purpose.
Yeah. And then you guys made all the money off of it, and we don't even care. We're just happy to have fucking Deadpool. So,
like, I mean,
it's a 10.
And you know, it's a 10 plus 10.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is, when Deadpool 2 comes out, I'll probably be sitting here next year or the year after next or whatever, and saying that's the #1 movie.
We'll see.
Because it's got such momentum, and people are so like, you know what? And I love, like, we've expressed love for Marvel and DC. I love both. I think Marvel's got their great thing going, and they've been doing it since 2008 with Iron Man, and they've done a phenomenal job. DC's got their dark, gritty thing that they're doing, and I love that too, because you got two different scenarios of when you go watch comic movies. But Deadpool, with a studio that says, we're going to go all out and make it completely different. We're not going to go light. We're not going to go dark. We're going to just keep right here and just say, fuck the free world and fuck the police or something, and just have fun with it. You know, like, that's what I love about Deadpool. And that's, you know, at the end of the day, I've actually never talked to anybody that said they hated it. You know, girls, guys, well, I hope, you know, little kids aren't watching it, but whatever. They all love it, and so that's what's #1. I mean,
Cream rises to the top,
and look at their budget, man. Look at the budget compared to what they had versus Batman vs Superman and Civil War, and what they made.
And they even made jokes about it on set in the movie, fourth wall breaking, saying, "I guess the X-Men were off today" or whatever.
And Cable's gonna be the second one.
Fucking right. That's our top fucking 5-6 movies of 2016. That's our ranking. Comment down below. What's your ranking? What do you guys think about it down below? We love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some motherfucking whammo. Oh yeah.
Do you guys want to be our unicorn?